Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and tonight we're going to be unboxing some old stuff, some new stuff, but generally a lot of really cool stuff. So, as you can see, we have the new Be'Lakor, literally just came out this morning. We have the Slickblade Seeners. They came out I believe about 2 months ago now, but it's the first time we actually got a chance to get our own set. Definitely looking forward to these guys to go along with my other Heated Knights of Steel and Ash. We have the Crimson Court for Direchasm. Came out last week. We actually got this last week, but due to some issues with the car, just didn't have time to actually get the video filmed last week, so saved it for this week. And at the same time, we also got the Stormcast Eternals Warcry box set. Now this is out of print. Just happened to actually stumble upon it. Still sealed and everything. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. Now, from what I understand, this is the I think it's like Warrior Chamber. I'm not very familiar with the Stormcast Eternals. But we'll get in there and we should be able to figure it out pretty quickly. Now they look like a decent mix of melee and range. Also with the birds themselves, some the Aether Wings specifically, some speedier units. This is probably one of the thickest assembly guides I've seen as far as total number of pages, but we are looking at a total of, looks like 11 models, between the Vanguard Hunters, the Raptors, and the Aether Wings. Now, outside of some of the starter sets, I don't typically do much, if anything, with Stormcast, so a lot of this is still really new, at least for me. So, now I really like that these cloaks look like they're made more of like furs on the outside, because looking at the pictures, you don't really get a sense for their fur cloaks. And that will allow you to get some extra color in there, since they're pretty much all armor anyway. And so some of that's going to get kind of lost in all the shine. But some great looking models as far as the detail goes. The Aether Wings look great. A lot of detail on the feathers. You know, really just nothing surprising there, considering the fact that all of the recent releases from Games Workshop have just been absolutely fantastic with so much detail. So we got our bases. We have our order specific tokens. Not gonna bother getting those out, because we have looked at those before for some of the other decks. Now, if I'm correct, I originally thought this package was for Warrior Chamber, but I believe this is Sacrosanct Chamber. Not certain on it, but one of the only things that you have a card for that's not in the box is the Gryph-hounds, which conveniently we also picked up another a box of Gryph-hounds, so we'll actually be able to use some with them as well. So I believe they're the Sacrosanct Chamber, but I'm not certain, so don't quote me on that. But definitely some great looking models. It'll be a great way of getting my son into the game, since he only likes the order factions. So give him something a bit heavy hitting, and from what I've been told, all of the Stormcast Eternal warbands are very, very hard to defeat, so that'll give him a leg up when we play as well. Alright. So next, we're going to open up the Crimson Court. Now this is the latest released warband for Direchasm. It comes with a pre-made deck that you can use with some exclusive cards, or you can mix and match with your existing decks. We've got 2 sprues total with some really great detail. Like, I love this statue head that Prince Duvali is standing on. A lot of detail there, really cool. But as far as the models go, they look like they are push to fit, and from what everyone tells me when dealing with push to fit, the posts that you're using, it's always best to trim a little bit extra off, just so that way you're going to get a snugger fit, because as we saw with Blackstone Fortress, not all of those fit perfectly. And then we have our assembly guide, and then the various cards as well. I'm not going to bother opening up the cards right now, just because I don't want to mess those up. But mostly just want to focus on the models for, you know, the new vampire count kind of line that's coming out with a Soul Blight something. I can't remember exactly what it was, like Soul Blight, Gravetide, or something like that. Looks like we're going to be getting new vampire counts in general, and so I thought these would be a great way to start things off with the new vampire counts. Definitely looking forward to getting started with those. And forgive me if my mic is picking up on my sniffles. Allergies have been crazy bad this weekend. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open up the Slickblade Seekers, sorry. So basically, they look like they're more or less Blissbarb archers mounted on the Steeds of Slaanesh. And we actually have one of them that has a glaive. Actually, it looks like multiple. It looks like you have multiple mounting options, either some with bows and some with glaives. So very cool to have so many options. I love when they do that. So that way you're more likely to get a more unique army. Now, the Steeds of Slaanesh, right off the bat, I knew this from before, but it's pretty obvious that they are much larger than the ones that they've used in the past. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing this size Steeds of Slaanesh basically being the new norm going forward when they come out with a new box set of those. But the detail on these are absolutely fantastic. Now, Steeds of Slaanesh, I always thought kind of just looked a little boring, not enough detail, and didn't really see how they really fit with Slaanesh in general. You know, because they're kind of more lizard-like, which, you know, kind of fit more with lizardmen, but you know, these definitely look a lot better. They fit the aesthetic of the new Hedonites, especially the Blissbarb archers. But just so much detail on these mounts too, so they're definitely going to be a lot of fun to paint. Definitely looking forward to those. Of course, the trouble is always putting them back in the box. Go. Alright, so before we open up Be'Lakor, we are actually going to open up two of the White Dwarfs. We have 462 and 463. So, first off, I'm not going to share the code because we are going to use it to try some of these new games out, but for getting that issue of White Dwarf 462, you actually get a lot of free Steam games, many of which I've wanted to play and haven't had the chance, like Total War Warhammer. I've loved seeing the videos of it and really wanted to play. I've played the crap out of Warhammer Quest and Warhammer Quest 2 already, but don't mind playing it again. Vermintide 2, absolutely love that game on the Xbox. Don't know that I'll get around to investing much time on it on the computer, but it's there as well. Space Wolf I've never actually seen before, so definitely looking forward to trying that. Armageddon to Orcs and Titanicus Dominus, but looking forward to those. But Warhammer Underworlds Online, that one I'm really looking forward to. It also comes with the chapter approved, kind of like a mini codex, as it were. I'm just giving you just point values alone, it looks like. So we're going to go through this a bit faster than we usually do since we got two issues. So we have the main contact section going into Worlds of Warhammer. This one's focusing on Space Wolves in general. And then another Tale of Four Warlords, this one focusing on a Space Marine, Necron, Sisters of Battle, and Orcs groups. Then we have Flashpoint Caradon Warzone. Looks like Nurgle is entering that fray. And then we go into Index Astartes, the Exorcists. So basically a Space Marine group that, well, based on their colors, look more like Blood Ravens, but would more or less be tasked with hunting down demons and such. And then we go into the Echoes from the Warp, which is talks about using terrain and the impact it can have on your tactics and the battle itself. And then we go into Galactic Warhosts, Craftworld BL10, showing some of the patent schemes for that Eldar group as well. Definitely one of the more less common Eldar paint schemes that I've seen. Then we have Flashpoint wow, I really can't speak today. Broken Realms, Cannibals of the Cursed Mountain. So this is focusing on Flesh Eater Courts. You can see from the picture they got a Terrorgeist. And looks like we have a story from it as well. Then we have War of Flesh and Bone battle report. Looks like we have Oziark Bone Reapers versus Flesh Eater Counts. So definitely not familiar with how either of them play myself, so looking forward to that. And then we actually have a War Scroll for Zeramos for Oziark Bone Reapers and Varshorn for Flesh Eater Counts. Then we go in, we have the full battle report. A lot of great pictures in here with some great terrain, making use of it for sure. So looking forward to giving that a more thorough read later. We go into Rules of Engagement, which is basically a way of playing games solo, which, especially during a pandemic, is going to be more necessary than usual. And then we have an interview with Graham McNeil. Going into Direchasm, Path to Victory, which is highlighting the Starblood Stalkers and Kagra's Ravagers. The Starblood Stalkers, as far as I'm aware, have not been released yet, but I expect they will be soon. Or I just completely missed them when they came out. Then we have Adapters Titanicus, which is new rules. Specifically for the War Master Titan. And then we have the Chronicles of the Wanderer, Black Library. Looks like it's a short story this time. For Age of Sigmar. And this is actually part 3, apparently. And then we have the inside of the studio section, which shows some of the work that the staff has put out as far as their models go. So definitely some cool stuff in there, worth checking out. And for 40k players, the chapter approve is definitely going to be a great way of checking those points on the fly to make sure you're getting everything that you want in your army. So this one is this month's issue. So 463, as it were. So we start off with the contact section, followed by Worlds of Warhammer, focusing on archetypes in general. Basically, some of the main archetypes from the stories in the game and how they affect the overall game as well. And then we have Flashpoint Galactic Warhosts. This one's Forge World Metallica. And we go into how to paint their schemes. Then we go into the Caradon Warzone again. Looks like we have, at least in the images, more Nurgle action going on. Some Tzeentch. And then it looks like we actually have a fiction for it called The Great Drowning. And then The Death of Industry. Looks like kind of like a mini campaign, or just a battle, as it were. And then Echoes from the Warp. And this month is more of a painting challenge. Kind of looks like they have a 40k bingo that they were working on, and so you can actually play along as well and see how many of the different things you can actually fill out. But specifically for that challenge, it's 40k. Then we go into the Golden Demon Winners Challenge. Basically just going through showing some of the sets people have built and either put on display or entered into some contests. Then we go to Flashpoint Broken Realms, the Tome Celestial, the battle for Tepic's Eye, which looks like it's Khorne versus the Lizard Men. And then we actually have thick card to actually get our demons out. So we have those. And then we have Flashpoint Broken Realms, Anvil of Chaos. So the Flashpoint and Broken Realms is kind of more of some mini battles you can do towards the overall storyline. Then we go into Tale of Four Warlords. This month's is Lumineth Realm Lords, Slaves of Darkness, Cities of Sigmar, and Heated Knights of Slaanesh, which is followed by Direchasm Glory Points again. And so this is more of an introduction to the game as a whole for newer players, to get a better understanding of how the game plays. And so it goes through a bit of that. Then we have painting masterclass section for heavy metal, non-metallic metals. And so this is a technique for painting that I have not even attempted to do, because when it comes to like lighting in general, as far as, you know, painting it so it looks like it's being lit from a certain direction, I'm very inconsistent with it. I definitely have a lot to learn there. So this will definitely be a good read. A lot of things to practice. And like you can see like the different stages as they're going, where some parts, you know, you're not really seeing the true effect yet, but by the time it's done, it all comes together and just absolutely looks brilliant. And then we go into an army gallery for Adeptus Titanicus, War of the God Machines. And then for Necromunda, we have some new rules, basically hangers on scenario. We have Mercy Mission, Dome Rush, and Target Practice. And then for Black Library, we have Liber Xenologist. Probably butchered that one. With Darius Hinks. And so it looks like this is more of a teaser of the book of the same name, that's basically written from the perspective of Janice Drake from Blackstone Fortress. And then we have the Middle Earth section, which is basically modeling Bilbo's trolls and exactly how they did that kind of stone effect. And then in the back of the Black Library, we have Chronicles of the Wanderer again. This time it's 40k related. Or no, I'm sorry. It is a continuation of the same one. Forgot that Caradrons are not a Space Marine group. They are basically the steampunk-looking dwarves. So that was my mistake. And then we have Inside the Studio, like always, where members of the studio show what they're working on for the month. So definitely some cool stuff there. Definitely worth picking up and reading, especially if you are into pretty much all things Warhammer like I am. And now lastly, we're going to go ahead and open up Be'Lakor. Now, depending on where you get him, probably going to be anywhere from like 140 to 160. I'm hearing some places are selling them from upwards of like 250 right now. So he is completely sold out as far as the Games Workshop online store is concerned. And most shops were only able to get like one or two. So you're definitely gonna, if you want these, they are gonna publish more. I actually spoke to somebody at Games Workshop about that. So this is not a limited release, but you just have to wait till they're able to get more produced and ready to be shipped. So we have a decent sized assembly guide with a full color to show you exactly which pieces are connecting where, to make things more obvious, make things easier. And what's surprising is with the pose, it doesn't look like there's a lot of stuff that you'd want to assemble later. Like basically, I would basically save this last couple steps until the very end, so that way you can get into his back a lot easier. but with everything as spread out as it is, it looks like it would be much easier to get painted than some other models for sure. And then we have our war scroll at the end. Alright, so this is the first time I've actually seen these sprues. I haven't even seen anything online about them yet. So just set those aside real quick. So here's our base. Nothing fancy there. But you will be able to make this kind of rock growth that's underneath him. So this is our thinner of the sprues. We've got a lot of the decorations, his kind of his loincloth, his flaming sword, or smoke sword, or whatever it is, and then just a lot of the body parts, a ton of detail. Just looks absolutely amazing. This is one of the coolest looking models they've come out with in quite a while. And definitely looking forward to building and painting him. I think I just might get started on him right away because of the fact that I literally just finished the project that I was working on for Blackstone Fortress, and I'm in the process of assembling Cursed City for my next project, but I think I might get him built up and put him in the mix as well and do them about the same time. But I know we covered a lot of ground tonight, make up for last week as well, so a lot of good stuff there. Definitely looking forward to getting these things built, getting them painted, and trying them out. The fact that we had 2 issues of White Dwarf definitely tells you that we got a little bit behind over the last few weeks. I know last month with my daughter's birthday, that kind of screwed my scheduling up a little bit, but we're back. We got things going now. I don't know of anything planned specifically to arrive for next week to unbox, but we do have several new things, at least new to us, that we can definitely cover and go over in the meantime. But once I finish getting everything that I'm going to be working on built, I'm going to get everything primed, and then we'll start resuming some of the painting videos for Aeronautica Imperialis, because we've got about 4 new ships that we're going to be building, or actually already built. Just got to get primed, and then we can start painting. But that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. And then if you are in the Valley, make sure you stop by and visit our friends over at Games U. By far the best shop in the Valley that I've been to. Those guys are always on top of their game, very knowledgeable, very helpful, worth checking out. And otherwise, you guys have a good night. Thank you.